to dig right into it, what we know about the typical Treasury workflow is that it's really driven by the existence of standards from a banking portal and legacy file format perspective, which means that when you're engaging with bank data, you kind of at the same time have to also engage with the process to normalize and transform all of the data that you get from any particular bank, which means that ultimately you have to deal with inconsistency. If you don't have automation in place and this is being done through a human process, that ultimately means that the decisions that go into which fields should be brought through into a spreadsheet, how should any particular data format be normalized, whether it's from a currency perspective or a numbering perspective, or even from an account perspective, all of those decisions are handled by an individual operator and have to be done at every bank account level. And then from there, if you want to do any work on any of that data, you really have to do it within the constraints of the spreadsheet tools and the reporting tools that you might have built into your productivity suite. So for a lot of people, that means Microsoft Excel, that means PowerPoint, and that means ultimately having to do all of that work by hand and the repetition of it happening by hand as well, which means that if you need to do it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, that means that you go to the beginning of each of these sequences. You have to download all of the data by hand if you don't have automation set up. You have to cleanse that data by hand, make sure you don't make any mistakes. And then you have to version by hand any work that you've done already and make sure that it translates and that all of the work that you've done doesn't get lost.